I am.
I am.
I am.
We started working on the Jubilant project in May this year. There are 15 people involved in the filming, podcast and editing part of the film. We also have a number of actors who are reading the poems, which were written by 25 young people from a 2-day session with our English teachers, and a playwright and poet called James McDermott, who is based in Norfolk.
James helped us think about our identity and what that means to us and to others. In the first session, he sent us a short film where he introduced himself and asked us to do a number of tasks.
Hello, my name is James McDermott and I'm a 28-year-old playwright and poet based in Norfolk. I'm going to come and work with you from the 8th of June on a project exploring identity. So just to say a little bit about my work, I've 2 plays published by Samuel French. They include Rubber Ring and Time and Tide, both of which explore what it means to be a queer person in the east of England, really. I've then written on EastEnders as well, exploring working class identity and queer identity. And I've written several books of poetry, including Anatomy, which explores the formation of a camp gay male identity, and Erased, which is a series of erasure poems on homophobic documents and speeches throughout history in order to reclaim them and make them less homophobic. So the project we're going to work on is going to be built around identity, as I say, and so ahead of our meeting on the 8th of June, I'm going to set you a few exercises. I'd like you to free write for 5 minutes, which is trying to write continuously without stopping or judging what you're writing, about 3 things. The first one is about yourself, any hobbies, interests, your age, anything at all about yourself. The second one is on place, where you live or where you're from, whatever is most meaningful to you and most emotional to you. What do you love about that place? What would you like to change about that place? And third and finally, that thing in life which makes you different or makes you othered. When I was at school and still in my life now, I was othered for being a working class person and a queer person. I thought both of those things would hinder me in adult life when I was at school. And actually I see now that they're my superpowers as a person and as a writer. They give me a unique lens through which to see the world, which helps my writing and helps me live in a very distinct way and have a very fulfilling life.
It was a really good exercise and enabled us to produce some amazing work. When he visited us in person, he was great fun and set us more tasks for writing about ourselves. The poems that we have filmed today are a culmination of the work he tasked us with. We hope you enjoy them.
Taking part in the filming was a great eye-opener into the business of film production, and we were allowed to discover the different roles in making a film. We even attempted to make our own TV shorts.
It's been really inclusive and fun.
I think we didn't have enough time to actually edit, but we had enough time to do the filming.
Yeah.
Yeah, like an extra day to dedicate to just editing.
Are you going to be here next year?
And like reshoots. Hearing that writer talk and how like when he came out, like how difficult that was just like to not care. And that helped me a lot because when I first came out, like a lot of people are ill.
I've learned how patient they have to be for it. So like with your filming, like when you're in front of the camera, when you have to like retake it like so many times just to get like the right thing, and then you have to film it at different angles and all that sort of stuff, and it like takes ages and ages.
It's also like the waiting around when you've got nothing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always used to think that films were filmed in order, but it's
Yeah,
not.
so do I.
No, they're definitely
I
not.
always thought it was filmed in order.
I don't think I'm ever going to complain when I say that it takes too long for another season of Outer Banks to come.
Yeah, it definitely sounds enjoyable, but I think there's a lot of effort and work that goes into making, like, even podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if a project like Jubilant was to come up again, would you want to do it?
Yeah, of course I would.
And for the rest of you, would you like to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so the filmmaking, from our point of view, we have lots of students who go through their day-to-day sort of timetable lessons and don't necessarily have much of a clue about how they're going to use those in a real-life situation. So from that point of view, from them having an idea of how they might develop and have a career possibly in filmmaking is brilliant, and they've loved every minute of it.
But they should put it on as like a GCSE option. So
Yeah.
then, because like more people will do it as well.
You and Paul need to get your teacher qualifications.
Yeah.
People who
Oh, there's a
just
camera,
actually,
there's a camera.
like, really enjoy it or like want to pursue it as a career.
I don't
But,
think any of us has
Yeah.
complained about it.
Yeah,
No,
we've learned
not.
more doing this like once a week than I think we've learned ever in school.
Yeah.
That is
We've learned in
true.
school, and yet we want to learn this, but we don't learn this in school.
And that is really helpful
Yeah.
because when it's not just like fixed in school, when it's like at the Apex, for example, you meet so many different people from so many different backgrounds that you had no idea that were like had the same interests as you, and that you never would have imagined you'd speak to. So for like,
I never spoke to you before this.
I'd never spoken to you before
So
this.
a combination question for that then. The different groups that were selected to do the Jubilant project, do you think that you've built new friendships just
Yes.
in Jubilant?
Yeah.
I'm literally
Yeah.
walking home with Kimberly today.
My mum's taken her to Hawley, and we hadn't even spoken before this time.
I genuinely
Have I
never
spoken-
knew she
no.
existed before this.
So from an English perspective, I think, as George said, often English seems to be a very sort of academic subject, and it tends to be really focused on GCSE results and future qualifications to get into college and university. When one of our roles, or one of my aims really, is to make English a living subject and linking that with the outside world. So the opportunity to work with an award-winning writer creatively with a group of students was a really fantastic opportunity that we were more than willing to take on board. And the students that have been involved have had a really, really worthwhile experience.
Absolutely, yeah. The students that I've had come back into class after doing the project with James have really enthused all the other students that didn't get to do it. So it's certainly something we'd like to do again. And they've come back. One lad in particular, I was just talking to the filming crew about, is now more confident in class. And doesn't just speak to me separately after everyone else has gone, will actually volunteer ideas and really believes his voice is worth listening to. And I think if that's the only takeaway, that is huge. It's going to improve his learning, and actually it's improved his social networking within school as well. He's made lots of new friends. And I think for some of the kids, because the subject matter we looked at was identity, has actually, as a teacher, I find creative writing quite a nice way to engage with the kids and for them to explore things around their mental health and their well-being. And I think that's opened a lot of channels for the children to use the creative writing as a way to improve things for themselves in terms of well-being. So I've really noticed that in the week and a half since the last session.
And creative writing is an excellent way in which students can express their feelings. It can be, they don't have to share it with everybody, but just that activity or action of actually writing your thoughts down can be really sort of good for your emotional health, well-being.
James was really inspiring. The author that came in, James McDermott, was really inspiring, and it made me realise that actually you can, as an English teacher, you've got a lot of content to cover, obviously, and a lot of things that you have to cover. And actually the creative writing element is actually a quarter of their GCSE language, and it's something that we as a department dedicate time to every second Friday, every 2 weeks. And you can, as a teacher, fall into, okay, we're going to read this, we're going to look at this. And I've learned that I need to let them just write. And I've actually used the I Am exercise that James had taken from Simon Armitage with all of my classes this week. And I've had such good feedback. And I've actually had some children kind of share things with me they perhaps wouldn't have shared, which I think is just completely invaluable. And I think as well going forward, I've realised that actually I've got a bit of a background in filming from my degree that I've never used, ever. And actually there's no reason why we can't do this on a regular basis within school. And without, having crews back in again as well to upskill us as teachers, to, as Miss Arnold says, to make it more of a living, breathing thing. The creative writing side of things is academically important, but actually also opens up lots of other opportunities.
And I think by filming it as well and using Offshoot, it's been amazing because although it's given those kids those skills to be able to use that production and to learn how to technically put it all together, it's given them a visual recording of something, which again we can then share. And next time around, we
with
can
other
say,
bodies
this is
of
the result.
students.
Would you like to be involved?
I think the other good thing is that we can be very sort of insular in our subjects. So to actually join together some English students, some drama students, some art students, and maybe some music students together has been really sort of a luxury, really.